I'm William Peake.
And what
I'm
part?
86. I served in the Navy from 1943 to 1946. Got out, got married, had 2 kids, and got called back for the Korean War. And I sent another year and a half in the Navy during the Korean War. And then I got out, and I was finally out. We got called back. There was no ifs, ands. Parish priest wrote a letter, that kind of thing, tried to get me out or delayed or so forth. And because the Navy and the government in general had let the military just go to pot after the Second World War. They put all the ships in mothballs, they got rid of all the critical equipment and got rid of the personnel. So when the Korean War started up, they looked around and thought, we're back at war and we don't have any people experienced. I was in communications. Originally I was a telegrapher, Morse code and the like of that. And then later I progressed into cryptography, which is the coding, encoding and coding of messages. When you're a civilian, you're used to doing everything the way you think it should be done. You have your own agenda. You do things you don't want to do them. If you don't want to work, you don't. But when you go in for basic trainings, that all stops because somebody is watching you continually. And it's all to get you oriented to work as a unit. Be a ship, be it whatever the military objective is, they want everybody of a single mind. Basically, do what you're told and don't ask questions. And I enlisted because within a year I was going to get drafted and I didn't want to go in the Army. So I went in the Navy, and my father had been in the Navy, and there's a tradition of Navy in my family, so I was kind of happy there, as much as you can be happy. But you got to remember, I was 17. It was kind of like a lark. I wasn't afraid of anything. And you're probably about that same age, so, and you don't have any fears. The life's all ahead of you. You don't have any worries. I didn't either. And then the United States partially, in my mind, partially brought on the Second World War because they cut off all the fuel supplies to the Japanese nation. Oil, Japan has no natural resources. It's an island rock. They're lucky they grow corn, and that's still the way it is. But anyway, all down to the, New Guinea and in the Philippines were sources of fuel. And when we put a blockade on that, Japan got upset about it and decided they had to have some resources. So their idea was to get them was to go to war with us. You never were told what the whole grand plan was. You'd just get up in the morning or whatever, and you'd be steaming. Well, steaming is sailing. You would just go, and then maybe a day or two before you were at your destination, somebody involved in the communications, like myself, would find out where we were going. When we took men aboard these little, what they called LCIs, which is landing craft infantry, we guarded those people. We had destroyers and we had cruisers and battleships and maybe a carrier out there supporting those troops in. No one ever went in alone. The individual might have felt alone when he was running across the beach, but you had the company of numbers. And the theory was that maybe they wouldn't all live and they wouldn't all accomplish. But it took a mass of people to overcome the enemy. So you would go ashore with innumerable guys that you knew weren't going to live, and that's really guts. I never had to go ashore in any invasion. I was involved in seeing these little boats with the soldiers and Marines in particular go ashore on these islands, and all we could do is there were several things we did on the ships that we were on. And you know what a shooting gallery is, where the ducks and everything are up there and you shoot them as they go along. We ran parallel to the beaches and we threw up signals to jam the radar. the enemy so that we could bring the planes in without the radar seeing the flights come in. And that was our job as destroyers, was to set up this signal jamming. And we were sort of like sitting ducks in the gallery.